Hey, Samuel, Leeds here. Happy Sunday evening. I usually take a bit of time out on a Sunday to answer questions on YouTube to YouTube. So this is what I'm going to be doing now. So from last week, I had some great questions. I wish I could answer all of them on YouTube. I try my best to answer as many as I can. We had a question from Simon Lee. He said, I am from Slovenia and oh my God, nobody doesn't even want to hear about the lease option agreement. I'm trying now for 3 months, just can't go. Okay, Simon Lee, I feel your pain. I really do feel your pain. There could be two things going on. Number one could be you're not speaking to enough people. Sometimes people say to me, you know, I've spoken to so many agents, I've spoken to so many landlords and everyone says no. And I'll ask them, how many have you actually spoken to? Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe 10 or 20. No, maybe 10 or 20. Come on, how many? And it's actually like 5 or 6. So it might be that you need to speak to more people. But probably more likely than that, it's probably that you're saying the wrong things. Because if you're saying the wrong things, you can speak to 1,000 people and they'll all say no. So when it comes to lease option agreements, the first thing you need to do is you need to investigate their situation, ask them questions. Because you can't just pitch a lease option agreement to somebody without knowing their situation. It might not be any good for them. So once you know that, okay, I've asked them questions, a lease option will be really good for this person. Check. That's number one. Number two is, before you offer them a lease option agreement, that should be a last resort. You should first try and tell them to rent it out themselves. You should tell them, offer them different options. I call this, on my crash course, I talk about this in detail, and I teach you how to exhaust their options. And when you run out of options and they need a lease option agreement, then you offer it. And you need to offer it in a very specific kind of way. So, Simon, I would suggest if you can get yourself down to the crash course, I'm happy to teach you and show you exactly what to say. But I hope that alone is helpful. Please keep me posted. And when you get your first deal, don't forget to comment and let me know. Braden Johnston says, can you tell me anything about the differences in laws in New Zealand? Do you have any experience? I've never been to New Zealand and I haven't got any properties in New Zealand, so I don't know, Braden, about that. I'm planning at some point on visiting though, because I haven't been to Australia either. Do you know what my plan is? My plan is to do a world tour where I'm just going to go to like all these different countries in all these different continents and maybe take £25,000 in each country, and my plan is to invest it in each country. And if the country is really bad to invest and I'm like, oh no, then I'll do a video about it and say this country sucks to invest, and I'll keep my 25 grand for England. If the country is really good, I'll invest it and I'll rate each country out of 10. That's kind of my plan. And New Zealand, if I do that, by the way, if you guys like the idea, let me know. But if I do that, New Zealand will definitely be on the list, and I'll hopefully be able to answer your question better. Bernard says, in regards to your recent trip to New York and the northwest region of the United States, what were the core differences between real estate investing in the UK versus the US? Which aspects were harder in the US and which were easier? Thank you, from the US. Thanks so much for your question. I think that for me, the big attraction to the US, the thing that just blew my mind, was the fact that I met so many people that were buying houses for like 20, 30 grand. They were spending 20, 30 grand doing them up. So all in now, they're like 40, 50, 60,000 pound in. But then the houses were worth over 100 grand. And then they were selling them and making serious cash, lumps of cash for buying and selling. You see, in the UK, if you buy a house for 40 grand and you spend 20 grand on it and you put 60 in altogether, if you do it right, it might be worth 70, 80 grand, but not like 120. Not like in the States. So that was really quite exciting to me. I wanted to do some flips out there. The things that were harder was, I'm not 100% on the agents, as in it was more difficult just to get appointments. In England, I find that when you book a viewing, it's in. Whereas in the States, people kept cancelling viewings, not showing because I hadn't confirmed enough. So I personally find the UK, the agents, easier to deal with, but that might be because I'm just used to the agents. Also, the UK, because it's a small island, everything's close by, so you don't have to drive around that much. And because it's a small island as well, I think you can be more confident that things are going to rent, maybe. So that's my thoughts. I mean, I was only there a week. I'd love to go back, but yeah, UK versus US, both are good. just in different ways. Okay, next question. Paul Anthony says, is 64 too old to get involved? Also, see you on the next Birmingham crash course. Paul, 64 is definitely not too old to get involved. We've had 72-year-olds coming down to the crash course and they've loved it and gone and done deals. So look forward to seeing you there. Final question. Jack Farcua. Oh jeez, I'm really struggling with pronouncing their names. I am sorry, but the question's great. What do you look out for in a good property management company, both single and multi-let? If you're getting a property manager for a multi-let, a HMO, it's really important that they specialise in multi-lets. Don't get a high street agent to manage your HMO. Find a specialist, and you can find them on Google or Spare Room. For a single let, it's just a case of making sure that they're I usually ring them beforehand, and I'll even sometimes pretend to be a tenant, and I'll say, hey, what properties have you got available? And just see, do they answer the phone quickly? How do they treat me? Are they friendly? Are they professional? First thing. Second thing is, do they do all the right checks? What do they charge? They shouldn't be charging more than about 10% management. So with a single, it's easy. With a HMO, it's more difficult. They've got to be specialists, and I'll usually want a recommendation as well. I want to find an investor that's used them before and ask them. So great question. Hope that's helped. Samuel Leeds, you've been awesome. Thank you so much for your questions. Ask some more. If you've got niggling property questions, comment below. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. Also, please do connect with me on social media. I'm on Instagram. Instagram is like one of my new favourite platforms. We have a Facebook group which is called Property Investors with Samuel Leeds. Connect with me on the Facebook group. Follow me on Instagram. Stay tuned, and I hope to see you at a Property Investors crash course upcoming very soon as well. All the details in that are below. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.